Thank you, Gabriel. That was very inspiring. I'm going to open it up for questions. Does anyone have one? Yes.
Hi, my name is Maya Pope Chappelle. A lot of us are working on our capstone projects, and so I just wanted to get your advice on the best way to approach a project like this. Like, I know what my topic is, I know the content that I want to have, but I'm not really sure how to lay it out. So are those the type of things that you think about when you're coming up with the topic? And
Absolutely. First things first, and I don't know what the rules are on your capstone projects, but kind of like what I was alluding to earlier is most people aren't like wonderful designers and writers and photographers and, you know, like interactive creators and stuff. So if possible, I encourage you to collaborate. Like take your concept, take your idea, and think a lot about it. Like don't worry about like the final product. Actually think about things and then start teasing out those things that really interest you. And start focusing on not only what they are, but why they interest you. Like why is this so interesting? And then from there, you'll start developing like the threads that you want to follow in your project, right? The themes that you want to follow. So then you take your themes and you start, how am I going to communicate this theme? How am I going to communicate this theme? How do I, like, and maybe it's only one theme throughout your project and you want to see how to do that. So first things first is deciding what you want to communicate. And then the next thing to do is ask yourself, what's the best way to communicate this? Like, if I have something where I'm really interested in talking to people about the economy, well, I'm not going to show them pictures of poor people over and over, right? Because somebody's not going to learn much about the economy by seeing pictures of poor people over and over. I'm going to maybe speak with an economist and record them and do an audio slideshow of poor people or people in affected areas, people in Detroit, people in California with home foreclosures, people in Florida, and then I'm going to have this person narrate why the foreclosures are so bad. So my suggestion, I guess, is to like identify your themes, then start saying, well, how can I best communicate these themes? And out of that, really, most of your project will fall, I think. Because like if you say like, because then you'll say, well, my most important thing is this audio slideshow. So I want this audio slideshow to be on my lead page. Or my most, like, and then also what's important is go back and think about, well, what are some things that would help provide context to this person? So you have your audio slideshow of the economist talking about the economy. You have your photo gallery. You have this. Maybe it could use a timeline that kind of explains how we got in this place. So like things that you wouldn't necessarily need to just tell the story, but that can help like users who might not otherwise understand how we got in this system be in that kind of system. So that's what I would kind of do. And then I would like, if you're having problems like seeing it or like doing something like that, bounce your ideas off somebody you know who's good at that. Like just ask them for some ideas, and all of a sudden they'll spark something in your mind. Because I still don't consider myself like a great designer, but I certainly didn't start off as a designer. I got to work with like all these wonderful people, and like it's one of those things where if you like bonk somebody on the head enough times, like they're gonna start to remember how to do it to themselves, like thing, you know. So like work with good designers, work with people who are talented at what you want to do, and then just try to soak up as much information from them as you can.
Aggregators or syndicators, do people kind of go use the multimedia features, but only really having to go to the homepage, the New York Times?
That's a great question. So if people didn't hear it, she asks, like, do people want to use our multimedia content on NewYorkTimes.com? The answer for the most part is yes. Are we really stoked about that? No. Like, we do want to like push NY Times content to Facebook. We do want to like make it embeddable in blogs. Like, we do want to have it syndicated on our regional papers and other things. Really, the difficulty with that is time. Like, a lot of the time I spend so much time just building like the Michelle Obama Interactive that like I'm working up until the last day on that. And so the idea of then spawning off one that can live on a blog page or spawning off one that can be embedded on your Facebook page is just like, we just don't have time to do that. But that said, we need to manage our time better to make that a possibility. Like, we need to start coming into the project saying, well, I know that I want, because I'll get a lot more people to participate if I let them embed it on their blogs. So I need to build something that gets put on blogs. So while no, we're not doing that right now, yes, that is something. It's a great question because it's something we should be doing and somewhere we're hopefully going. Our multimedia, I don't think, is syndicated or aggregated by, I mean, maybe like the headlines and a link or something, but none of the actual content.
Hello, my name is Mike. I'm a student here. You were talking about how you spend your time. How long, sorry if you already covered this, I came in a little late, but how long do you spend on a project and how do you split that up for your own days and your own workload?
It's a good question too. Really, it varies wildly. Like, my projects are done in one of two ways. Either A, they're pegged to a news story, in which case my deadline is the writer's deadline. And those are flexible in certain circumstances. It's very fluid. Sometimes a deadline will get pushed back week after week after week. That's not all that great because we have it done for the first week. And then all of a sudden, like, we get another week, and so we try to do more, etc. You know, like, it's a difficult situation. But it's what I was talking about earlier, which part of being a producer is, a large part of being a producer is project management. And you have to, like, understand, okay, while I might not be able to build charts as well as these people, I know that it's going to take them 2 days to build this chart. I know that it's going to take video 4 days to shoot this video, and I know I need 1 day to build the interactive and 1 day to record the script. So there I have like 4 days. Then you have to say, well, I know I have to write the script before I do the recording, so you start putting those in order. But in the meantime, they can be building the graphic, and in the meantime, video can be working. So it's all very fluid, but it only comes through familiarity, running projects, and with the actual content that they're working on.
Okay, there we go. So I'm actually an undergraduate at Columbia studying computer science, so I'm approaching this from the technical side as well. And so I'm very curious about what kind of frameworks you might be using. Are they internal? You talked about project management and the collaborative effort on this, but is it mostly just Flex and ActionScript? I saw a lot of Flash here, but what kind of technologies are you employing, and how do maybe the frameworks that you've developed help expedite that development process?
Sure, that's a good question. My team works primarily in Flash and ActionScript 3 because really, and a lot of people hate that. A lot of people in computer science especially hate that, blah, blah, blah. There's all this nonsense about how Flash sucks. But you give me some kind of other environment where I can deliver video and have interactivity and stream audio and like switch between things with like the ease with which I do Flash, and I'll gladly switch that system. Like, we're in Flash because that's right now the platform standard on how to deliver dynamic content. So we use Flash, and we have a very extensive library that I've built along with Tom Jackson and John Wong and a couple others of like buttons and players and etc. and things. So like, if I need a button, I don't have to go reprogram a button. I say new NYT button, and I pass in the label I want on the button, and that's it. And so like, we have built up extensive libraries. Aaron Pilloffer's team works a lot with Ruby on Rails, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, XML schemas, things like that. Steve Duenas' group works a lot with Maya, 3D rendering programs, Excel documents, databases. Car team works with MySQL, Oracle some, unfortunately, and a couple other databases.